All right, we're doing a sourdough sandwich loaf. This is the sandwich bread that we have all the time during the week. All right, so first thing, we want to keep, if you can keep a temperature of 80 degrees, you're golden, right? So everything reflects on temperature. So what I'm gonna do is, I got a measuring cup here. I'm gonna tare that. I need, let's see, on my little post-it here, I got 300 grams of water, all right? And what I'm gonna do is, get this on 300. So we're gonna add that. My starter is called Sam. What is your starter's name? Guys, if you're new to sourdough, you gotta name your starter. But this recipe calls for, let's see, we got 100 grams of starter. This guy is good and bubbly. $108. So look at that starter. You can see how stretchy that gluten is, that structure in there. That's a good sign that you got a really healthy, strong starter. All right, so now that's in here, I like to break it up a little bit with that water, so it's not just one big chunk in there. All right, then we got some honey. We got 40 grams. This is another beauty of a scale, guys. It's just so easy because you can just measure it, not have to deal with cups and things like that. All right, so you also need a fat. I use extra virgin olive oil, so you can use an oil. This recipe calls for it. And we need 30 grams of oil. And now we have, what do we got for flour? 500 grams. You want a good high quality bread flour. So we're just gonna mix this till we get all those ingredients really well together. But you kind of, the idea right now is you're just trying to get those dry bits to be incorporated. And then we're just gonna cover this, right? I wanna let this sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. All right, so it's about 20 minutes now. It's been absorbing all that water and oil and honey. We're gonna throw it on the mixer, if you have a mixer. So we're gonna go about 12 minutes, and this is a good time to add the salt. So I add a little bit now. Then I get it going. So I just keep it on low on this mixer. And all you're really trying to do is have some stretching of that dough. And then we're looking for it to incorporate the salt. And guys, you'll see a huge difference in your dough as soon as the salt had been added. It really starts to increase the gluten structure of the sourdough. All right, now that it's been going a little bit, I'm gonna add the rest of the salt. And the salt was 10 grams of salt. Now guys, you can definitely mix this by hand, right? You just wanna keep working it until you get to the dough to get that structure where what you create is what they call a window pane, and I'll show you that in a little bit. All right, now the goal is to get it into a bowl that we're gonna do the stretch and folds for the duration and let it proof in here. So we're just gonna get it out of here. You can see the ball is a little bit smoother in there. All right guys, the next stage in this game is you wanna have a little bowl of water. So I get a little bowl of water and I have my scraper. We're gonna get this ball in here. You might wanna get your fingers a little bit wet. Go ahead and get it all in there. And then I just like to get it into one neat ball. So now we're gonna let this thing go for an hour before we do our first stretch and fold. So go ahead and cover it up again. All right, so guys, now we're gonna do our first stretch and fold, all right? So it's been about an hour. You can see the dough is relaxed a little bit in here. Go ahead, get your dough scraper, a little bit of water, get your hands wet. All right, I get a little bit on the scraper itself. And guys, I don't pull this all the way out. All I do is grab a chunk of that, pull it up, and then fold. So now you can kind of see where we're going with this. You got two more. Fold. And then the last fold. And that's your first stretch and fold. Go ahead and cover it. Put it on your counter, wherever you've been keeping this warm. If you have an oven that's been somewhat warm, we could put it on there too. If you have a proofer or the Breville, just throw it back in there at 80. And then we're gonna go another hour. We're gonna do another stretch and fold. Hey guys, I wanted to share with you real quick. I have a cooking basics course. It's got lessons in there that will help you learn how to cook or elevate your cooking game. It's extremely affordable. Check out the link in the description or the link above. Now let's get back to the video. All right, so now we're doing fold number 2. So it's been sitting about another hour. And guys, you can see right now that you can get the window pane. You see how clear you can kind of get it and it's not breaking? That's a good sign that your dough is at the right point. So we'll go ahead, get onto one side, stretch. You'll start to feel it's getting tighter now when you do that first pull like that. Stretch. Just 4 simple stretches. Just to get some tension on that gluten and on the dough. Because this next one, we're going for the duration, right? This is going to be your bulk ferment. All right, guys, so now we're going to do the final shaping. We've already proofed. The dough is ready to go. So we want to get the baking dish ready. So when we do shape it, we can just plop it right in there. We just want a little bit of oil in there. This is just going to really help us release it later. All right, stick to that to the side. And then we just get the dough right on here to the flour side. So guys, the idea of this is to kind of keep it light and airy, but we're still going to give it a stretch. So get some flour on your hands and the dough. You're going to stretch it out almost like, you want to shape it kind of like a pyramid, all right? This side down, pull this up. And this is kind of giving it the last stretch before we put it in the baking dish. So grab one side, pull it to the middle. This side, pull it to the middle. All right. Then stretch the top, bring it to the middle. The side comes in, the side comes in. All right. Now you're just going to take this and you're going to roll it into itself. So tuck in. And then losing the flour on the bottom. And then roll it over itself. Bring the sides in. So as you can see, it's got some bubbles in there. We got some nice smooth texture on the top. It's tucked in. And that tension on the dough is going to help when it bakes. And then it's a simple plop into the pan, just like that. All right, guys, so this one's been proofing in the fridge. It's been like 12 or 18 hours, I believe. Guys, this is gonna vary depending on, your dough, your gluten in the dough, the temperature you made it at. It's just something you're gonna have to watch. But I know at this size, inside this dish, that this is ready to go. It has a little bit of some bubbling there. Those are really good signs. Now guys, you want to preheat your oven, 400 degrees. I already have that preheated. And what we want to do is score this, and we're going to score it so the gases escape while this bread rises. Now one thing to remember, you don't want too hot in this oven. I cook mine in the Breville, so it's kind of close in there. So one key is, you can start hot at say 400, and that's going to give it a little bit of a rise quick, and then you can bring it down to 350, 375 for the rest of the cook, and then you can watch the top to make sure it doesn't brown too much. So this razor, I like to get it wet before I cut it, and you're just going to give one quick cut right down the middle of that, just like that. That'll be perfect while it's baking in the oven. And then you're just going to throw it in at 400 degrees. All right, so this loaf came out great. You can see the good browning on top. You can see it rose a good couple inches. So I let it sit in here for another 10 minutes or so, and then I get it out and let it cool on a rack. You don't want the bottom to get too soggy, so that's why it's important to get it out and cooling on a rack. All right, so the loaf had some good time to rest. It's been over an hour. You can see it's this browning. You can see it has a little bit of crisp to it. But the beauty of the sandwich loaf is it's not brown and crisp all the way through. It's kind of soft. And now we're going to check out what the crumb came out like. The moment of truth. How is that crumb? You can see it's kind of tight and it's not like huge bubbles, and that's what makes it a great sandwich bread. But you can see it's evenly cooked. It's got a little bit of crust, but it's also really soft. Guys, that's my sandwich loaf. Go ahead and try it. Let me know what you think and in the comments. And guys, watch this video. It's a tomato soup and it has this bread and it has an awesome grilled cheese in it.